Yeah, my car did that thing again. Yeah, you can't really catch a bus there, eh? I could ride my bike. Now I'll ride my bike there. What if I told you there was a way to travel as far as you want for a ridiculously low cost? This kind of travel will make you more physically fit than you've ever been.
Gotta go up the hill!
You never get the opportunity like this to work out for 12 hours a day.
But I'm already out of steam and we're not even on the hill!
It's going to expose you to beautiful people, cultures, and places far easier than any package tour could. This is bikepacking. I'm Connor, a storyteller at Bright Trip, and I believe that bikepacking is the pinnacle of freedom. I've cycled the length of the UK, around Northland, New Zealand, and just before the pandemic started, I was planning a bike trip from London to Cape Town. Plans have changed, but I still love to get out on my bike whenever I can. I've got an open weekend ahead, and I'm going to go on a small bikepacking trip, just to show you how easy and rewarding it can be. Essentially, bikepacking is a road trip on a bike with a tent. Bikes are such freedom-filled modes of transport. As you cycle towards your destination, you can camp pretty much anywhere you like, depending on which country you're in. You're surrounded by nature. It's such a simple, nimble form of travel. Compared to buses, cars, ferries, trains, you have more autonomy over the route that you can take. And with bikepacking, it's all about the route. You can take mountain bike trails, old railroads, canal paths, bike straight through the desert, or soak up the forest. Or just keep it urban and discover parts of your city that you never knew existed. Pretty great, right? There are a few things that you should consider before you start cycling off into the sunset or the ocean. The novelty of this experience will make you see life in such a rich way after you complete your ride. And you don't even have to complete your ride, you can just go for a ride. If you're finding that on your bikepacking trip you're getting homesick, remember that homesickness is just a symptom of discomfort, so don't be too stoic about the whole thing. You can always approach a stranger, kick up a conversation in a pub, go to a music festival, join an art class in a whole new city. If you push through those tough times, you will come back with brilliant, enriching memories and a different perspective on your world. If you're going to go on a bikepacking trip, the first thing you need to do is check the weather forecast. Because if it's hot and dry, then you don't have to bring as many things. And if it's cold and wet, then you're going to have a few more bags. My rule for saving space is just to wear one and wash one of whatever it is. In terms of the actual clothes you're going to need, it's basic common sense. You're going to want a raincoat, maybe some waterproof shoes because wet feet are just bad news. Basically with clothing, you're going to want to wear something that you can socialize in and that you can ride your bike in. The other unique selling point about bikepacking is the camping. You can camp up in places like this, right by the water, and have an amazing view, cooking up your breakfast, making your morning coffee right here in front of some magical spots. So on that note, you're going to want to pack a portable stove, basic utensils, a dish rag, and something to hold your nice cup of joe. You're going to want to have a little box of tools for any general mishaps that will probably happen along the way. First on the list is Allen keys. This fantastic little tool just allows you to keep things safe and secure. Every day before I go on a long ride, I do a little pre-flight check, where I just go around tightening all of the nuts and bolts on the bike to make sure that everything's okay. Second on the list is a spanner. Any bigger bolts on the bike, like your pedals, just need tightening every now and again. So if you're going for a big long trip, you're going to want a spanner as well. And then of course there's the obvious puncture repair kit for the old blowouts. A simple little box like this is going to do you wonders. But if you don't have it, you'll be a sitting duck. A light. You're going to need something to show you the way when you're pulling into a village late at night. WD-40 or bike lube is going to keep moving parts moving. But you're also probably going to want to keep moving parts stopping with a bit of duct tape or cable ties. If anything comes loose, those two objects are of great use. You're also always going to want to have a helmet. Even when you're cycling in the wilderness and you're not seeing anybody for days, it's good to have a helmet. Now, there's also a ton of apps that you can use. I basically stick to Google Maps, but if you want a bit more on the trails, you can use Strava. And if you want to see what's around you, you can use Peak Visor. Remember that this kind of travel is exposed. Be prepared to cycle into big, hard winds. Sun exposure all day, sand in your eyes. It's not very pleasant, but it is part of the experience. If you're feeling overwhelmed at any point, try and find a safe pullover spot, or go into a hotel or a hostel for a couple of nights and recover and recuperate. And be sure to use that free Wi-Fi and give your friends and family a call and tell them all your crazy stories. When you cycle into a new town that you've never been to before, it can be really freaky and make you anxious. One thing I've learned over all of these trips is that you should just stop and smile. Go up to somebody and say hi if you don't know where you're going to go. I mean, it's also good to just have a plan and know where you're going to sleep. But if you've ended up in a town after a big day's ride, you'll be surprised how hospitable locals can be when they see an exhausted bike packer. So be sure to have a big smile on your face. Of course, this is just from my own perspective, but I hope that the same thing happens to you. So I've actually made a bikepacking course that demystifies the whole practice of bike travel. It's set in the beautiful Northland, New Zealand, and I go over the bike itself, which gear to bring in terms of equipment, clothes, food, and it's packed with tales where I share my own learnings from my bikepacking travels. All in all, I designed this to be an inspiring course, one to get you out there with a good general knowledge of what to expect and preparation for a variety of scenarios. I really encourage you to try this mode of travel. It's so beautiful. If it's not your cup of tea, however, Bright Trip have a number of other courses that might just suit you. It ranges from how to travel with kids to how to document your travels. Alright, thanks for watching.